Everybody, it's Rena. Sorry I haven't been on for a couple weeks. I have been sick still from the vaccine I got on September I think it was 11th. I seem to be getting better, but then suddenly I got sick again. I got these like horrible leg cramps and migraines and a cold. Now I got was good for about a week, and then I'm getting them again. I already got the leg cramps and uh the migraines. Now I'm getting a cold again. So I don't know how long this is going to go on, and I'm not getting the second shot. I've already got a letter from my doctor saying I had a bad reaction. So I'm sorry I haven't been on. I haven't been posting, and usually when I'm sick, I don't see a lot of visions. I guess my body's just trying to rest. And but I did have something, and I want to tell you about what I did see. And also, if you're going to be rude, people, not my subscribers, but other people, don't come on my page and say, well, if you're a psychic, then you ought to be able to tell me, how much money I have in the bank, or who killed who, or how many things happen here, and everything like that. It's not an on-off switch, so don't come on my page because I'll write a sarcastic comment to you. I can out sarcasm you any day, and I will block you. So don't even bother, trolls. Anyway, so don't bother doing it. I hate rudeness, and I can be very sarcastic, and I will ruin your day, and then I will block you. So there's nothing you can do about it. But I'd like to say hi to everybody, and I hope everybody's well. And I have to stock up on more Theraflu. I have to get my husband to pick up some more on the way home from work. Um, this is hot. Okay, so what I got from Gabby, I tried to contact her again, and I wasn't really getting anywhere with Gabby. But I wanted to know, and the case kept going here and there and everywhere. And I was just like, what the heck is going on? And that the story was changing, and all these new pages for Gabby, pages came up, and Brian, and then they found the skeleton, and then this and that happened. It was like all these new creators and these theories and everything, and I was like, oh my god, like it's also was too much static, which I feel in my head, like too many things are like going around. So I'm not. It's kind of like Summer said at the beginning when everybody was making pages for her and everything when she was contacting me. Um, she said it's like static. She said I can't stand it. It hurts my head. That's kind of the way I am because there's so much information out there with people and all these groups and everything, and I've been just haven't been feeling well, and there's too much static out there, so it's kind of blocking my what I'm getting. But I did get a couple things, and this is what I got from Gabby, and I know some of it's redundant, but I did post, and I saw a little bit more um, about I saw what Gabby had told me. She had told me um, two bodies, and then I saw it was like dust, like beige, like a beige background. And it was kind of dusty, and I saw two bodies. They were women, and they were lying face down, and they were like going somewhere. Like one was in like looked like she was heading somewhere. She had been going somewhere or trying to get somewhere, and there was another smaller one behind her. And they were both nude, or their clothing was, they didn't have much clothing on. I could see their bottoms, their buttocks, and I knew they were dead when she said the two bodies. And when I read about the Kristen and Crystal and Kylan story, I knew that those were the first. I thought before we knew about the third body, we heard about the man who committed suicide. I thought, why would she tell me two if there were three? But then found out he committed suicide. So I know that's what she was trying to tell me with that. And then the Robinson Preserve just happened to be right where, you know, um, Brian's family lived, like a half hour the other way, because the Carlton Reserve was like here, and then the laundry home was here, and then halfway from the Carlton Reserve was the Robinson Preserve, and that's, she said, Robinson. And it was kind of a coincidence. I mean, it would have been. And then she said, the third thing she said was, what did she tell me? She told me one more thing. I don't know. I can't think of it right now, but I will. But anyway, so I took it to mean that, and then the whole story just got stranger and stranger, and I in the meantime, and then they found out. I know she was hit. She was hit on the back of the head too. I got that. I felt that this morning. Like I saw her trying to run, and she got hit with a rock on the back of the head. It may not have been enough to kill her because it wasn't the cause of death, but it was, she was injured in the back of the head. She got hit. And then I've been asking her to tell me because I don't think Brian killed himself right away, like they say. I think that he waited a while. He didn't kill himself. But when they found the skull, and I know this is kind of sound kind of weird, but I kind of see this scenario where it's kind of a half and half. Like there's half truths in here. This is a very strange case because I think the parents made a deal with the FBI to tell them where Brian's body was when he came after he came home, and they would tell the FBI, and I think that he didn't die. He wasn't in the Carlton Reserve, or they would have found him. Even if there was water, there would have been less places for him to hide. He was actually in the Robinson Preserve. That's why they didn't find him. And I don't think he went to the Appalachian Trail or anything like that. I think he was hiding out in the Robinson Preserve. They told the FBI it was the Carlton Reserve. They made a deal that they would get amnesty. And so he wanted to kill himself. And the whole thing with the cars being switched and everything like that, I just feel it was like I keep saying half. I think the skull they found with his teeth was actually he killed himself. But I don't think the bones that they found are going to be found out to be his. I think there's somebody else's bones and they're older bones. I think the DNA is not going to match because they're not his bones. They also figured out the water tables at the time. I don't feel like they're going to be his bones. For some reason, my husband disagrees with me. I think he did die, but they planted the bones. Somebody else was working here. They had somebody else help them. They got a hold of whoever's bones. They were older bones. Then they're going to find out that they're older bones, the pieces that they have, and they're going to find out that they're not Brian's bones. They're somebody else's. The skull belongs to him because his uncle's a dentist. I mean, he could have fudged it, but you're talking to the FBI. I'm sure they had it checked against somebody, double checked before they announce it to the public. But the bones that they found underwater, which came to the surface, were not Brian's. It's gonna be because the family wants it to be undetermined. The Brian's bones are actually still at the Robinson Preserve, and they're hidden somewhere. And also, the gun that they found in the river, 75 miles away, that must have been a tip, because how could they have found a gun that was way down? It must have been somebody's tip. telling them where the gun was. If it was the same gun that killed Kylan and Crystal. Um, and it just might be, since considering somebody handed this tip in. I mean, that's kind of like coincidence. Or somebody knows something and told them where to find the gun. How would they find a gun 75 miles away in water? So anyway, I think when the mother and the father, Brian's mother and father, went for the hunt the last day when they discovered the body, those things have been planted there. I know this sounds far-fetched, but those items and the bones, and because they were basically uncovered, the ground wasn't that wet. The skull pieces and some of the bones were uncovered by that time, and they had been there the day before, and nobody had seen them. They found these items in his journal, which I don't think they're ever going. That doesn't matter. Whatever he wrote in that journal was probably a lie. It was just a prop. I think somebody else went the day before, or at another time. That maybe the same person who got the bones and made the father took a beeline to the right to the place, and the mother kept on going down the road. They said it was really, the FBI said it was very suspicious the way they kind of scanned the area. They didn't do it like normal people would. Anyway, he took a beeline because he wanted to make sure that the scene was like it's supposed to be before the police got there. Like everything was in place before anybody else got there. That's what I believe. It was set up by somebody else that's been helping them. And I think, and also when I was standing at the sink just doing dishes the other day, I heard somebody say in my head, shot right through the heart, or went right through the heart, or straight through the heart, something like that. And I was like, it just popped up in my head, right through the heart. And a few times that day, I saw heart where I'd never looked before. I would see a little heart on something. And I was thinking, this is really weird. And when I went to my phone, which I'm talking into, I looked at, I use a lot of emojis. And I often use little hearts, and things like that. And I was scrolling down looking, I think, for a flag. So it's pretty far down. And for some reason, I looked to the left of the screen, and I saw for the first, I've used this phone for over a year, and I've never seen this. I thought I'd seen every emoji on there. A set of lungs. And next to the lungs, to the left, was a heart, like the kind you'd find in a medical book. This was the same day someone said, straight through the heart. So, it was too much of a coincidence. And yesterday, I was having heart palpitations. And there was also a spirit in the house. I could feel it. I was trying to go kind of into a meditation. It wasn't summer. And I thought if it would have been Gabby, she would have said something. It was a spirit I didn't know. I didn't feel afraid of the spirit. I just felt like I kept wanting to go into a meditation, but it wasn't telling me anything. It was just a spirit. And I was getting frustrated because I wanted to know what it wanted, or what it wanted to tell me. And then in the evening, I kept having these heart palpitations. And I was like getting kind of nervous, like, what the heck is this? I can have heart palpitations if I have like 5 cups of coffee, which I never do. I usually drink herb tea or something like that, or maybe to wake myself up, I'll have iced coffee, but I hadn't had any. And or one, I have 2 black tea bags, but that wouldn't do it. So I don't usually have heart palpitations, and it was kind of getting me nervous. And I thought maybe it's COVID, but it didn't give him the COVID vaccine or something. But it was kind of unusual. It was getting me kind of nervous, and I was taking my pulse, and it continued when I was in bed until I fell asleep. And this morning they're gone. So it was another heart thing. So I'm thinking that he killed himself, but it was, I don't think he killed himself with a gun. Um, I would think that he would have killed, I think he probably poisoned himself, or he took too many drugs. And I don't think that skeleton is young enough to have any flesh on it. So they won't be able to find anything to do DNA unless they do bone marrow. I guess, I don't know if they can do bone marrow if you overdose on something. And I checked what kind of drugs online that can your heart, you know, can cause you to overdose that will show up in your bone marrow, and I couldn't find anything, but you can overdose on you can have a heart attack from many different drugs. But they were natural people, they had natural things, but you can still, if you're trying to kill yourself, um, I don't think you have the nerve to shoot himself. And then there would have had to have been a gun. They didn't find any guns or any shell casings that they said, and they didn't mention any in the area. So I think to make it a clean, or maybe he shot himself at the Robinson Preserve, and but that would have been bloody, and drugs would have been a cleaner way to go. And so that's kind of what my hypothesis is, that the parents knew they were in deep trouble because they were helping him, and they wanted amnesty, so they made a deal to tell them where Brian's body was, but it wasn't the right place. So they only put the skull and another skeleton there. And I know this sounds far-fetched, but I've heard worse. So that's kind of my theory at this point, because I keep seeing a half, like I said. I see the Robinson Preserve and I see the Carlton Reserve, and I see like being pushed, and I keep saying, no, no, go over there, go back there. That you'll find things over there. That's why they didn't find anything, because the water was covering everything. Where was he gonna go? I mean, there wasn't really that much space to hide, and so that's my impression of what happened. Let's see. I'm trying to think the third thing that Gabby told me. Oh God, it's on one of my my YouTube things. Tips from Gabby. And today's Wednesday, right? So I called my doctor's office. I said, have a visitation. I was just lying there, ready to go to sleep, and I decided I was gonna, ask if I could speak to. Summer's still there, but she don't really have doubts that he hasn't done this before. And the women may have been killed. The other man that they found was suicide, the father. And that's a shame. Be patient. That was very sad. But anyway, I thought about that, and I thought, well, maybe, it was because of that. Maybe she found out and he got really teed off or something that she found out. And, but then I thought, okay. And then I heard the word loud and clear in my head, Robinson. And that's actually my maiden name. She was starting to fade. And that was all I was going to get from her, which for her first, Robinson. And that's actually my name. And the women may have been killed. The other man that they found was, and they haven't found who did it yet, and which was absolutely horrible. But I thought maybe it had to do with them. Maybe she found out the visitation, and this was the first one. So I got the word two bodies. Two bodies, okay. And I thought, look, I got the words two bodies. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe she was talking about the two women who were brutally murdered, and they haven't found who did it yet, and which was absolutely horrible. Um, but I thought maybe it was had to do with them. Maybe she found out about that, and because I have don't really have doubts that he hasn't done this before. And the women may have been killed. The other man that they found was a suicide, the father. That's a shame too. That was very sad. Um, but anyway, I thought about that, and I thought, well, maybe it was because of that. Maybe she found out, and he got really keyed off or something. Mm. But anyway, I got two things out of the visitation, and this was the first one. So I got two bodies, and I thought, okay, so the first time I got two things, but I know I got one more thing from her. And like I said, the spirit was with me, but I couldn't really get anything else. So that's what I kind of feel happened to Brian. I was kind of hoping for Gabby's family that he would be found alive, so they could have some closure. This way he doesn't. I'm just gonna ask if Brian is dead. My husband thinks he's alive, but I'm beginning to. I don't think he killed himself right away, like they said. I think he hung out for a while, and did Brian kill himself? Mother, communications, pushing forward, Knight of Swords, Queen of Batons, Knight of Wands, Pentacles, Lovers, Knight of Swords, Eight of Wands, Secrets, Bad King. That's where the bad stuff starts. It all started. All right, it starts out with a mother. She's doing something. She's planning something. The Ten of Swords, the Ten of Wands means holding up things up against your own. The Three means communications. The mother is at the end, the bottom of this reading. It means she's in charge. She's starting. This is the mother, Roberta. She's the woman in charge. If I can get you any closer to this, so it's just gonna fade out. I'm trying to block the light here. Then you got somebody coming in, somebody with force. And then the Queen of Batons is a lying woman. Somebody with force, somebody who's coming in to do some damage. Then a lying woman. And the Nine of Wands. This means struggles. Struggles. Then you have the Queen, the Knight of Coins, and money exchanged. The Lovers, trying to even things out. Combinations. There's money here. Then you have the Eight of Wands. Okay. Then you have the Moon, which means secrets. Seven of Wands reversed. Instability, insecurities. Seven of Pentacles reversed. Being worried about money. Weak King. a woman who's using her intuition in a bad way. She's looking like she's giving something, but she's not. She's giving something up, something of herself. This the Six of Pentacles. It looks like somebody who's generous, who's willing to help, but she's not. She's thinking of herself. She's got the high priestess. She's plotting and planning. Oh, that's a bad card. The Eight of Swords, being stuck, trapped. Probably Brian. Bad things going on in the house. The whole house is starting to crumble. As far as material things, financial things, they're under scrutiny. I feel this is a financial institution, a government institution. They're under scrutiny. They're being watched. They feel two of these things mean these two cards mean they're being watched. They feel kind of squeezed, like they better do something. They're starting to get feel tight, like claustrophobic with the situation. Star means hopes. What do we do? What do we do now? A king, somebody who's willing to try anything. Betrayal card. Six of Swords, moving out of difficult waters. A new idea, new beginnings, skills. Communication, a deal that's made. A deal that's made. Four of Swords. It's time to get up and start moving and move away from this situation because she wants her money and her position back. She wants the whole thing to clear out and go away. Yeah, she wants balance back in her life. She's running this show. Yep, she's a hard woman. And she wants balance back in her life. That's all I really need to pull. Yeah, bad words. Things being said back and forth. I've read Brian's cards quite a few times. They all come out the same. They're just awful. So anyway, that's what I think happened to Brian. I think that half and half, that half thing, that the FBI has been duped, that everybody's been duped, that I don't think the FBI has been honest either. And the police and the laundry certainly have not been honest. And how could someone mistake Roberta for her son, Brian? So I really, that's kind of ridiculous. So I think if they go look in the Robinson Preserve, I think they would find what they're looking for, but they won't. And the DNA test, I believe, will come back with no match. Somebody else's bones, and they're a lot older than they think they are. But the skull match, because they're two different bodies, and they're not going to ever. It's never going to be conclusive until they go search somewhere else, the other preserve. So Gabby's family will not have closure, unfortunately. And I do believe that he killed Kyle and Crystal, even though some people say they were doing drugs or selling drugs, a little pot or something, big deal, There's no reason to. And I think maybe one of the reason that he killed Gabby was that she found out that he killed those two girls. And I can see them trying to get towards something, which might have been the stream, as I saw them on the ground, dead. Like they were crawling, it looked like they were crawling towards something. And Gabby's family have closure. They've taken it. I totally respect what they've done, how they've taken it. They have heartache, but they also have a new beginning. They also have, they're trying to celebrate. You have the Six of Wands, which means celebration. They're going to celebrate Gabby's life and it's a new beginning. They're starting something. They're starting a new beginning, and they're going to be celebrating Gabby's life. But it also shows severe heartache. It's the Three of Swords reversed. It means they've been hurt deeply, very deeply. So no, they won't really have closure, but they'll start something that will mean a lot to other people, and that's part of their healing. So that's all I have to say for now. I will get to summer summation. A lot of people have asked me to do that. I will get to that. Sammy, I'll be done in a minute. I know you want something. It's Sammy and Emma. Okay, I'll talk to you soon, and I will get better. And okay, take care, everybody, and stay well. And like I said, I'll get to summer summation of her because she stopped visiting me, and I see Don cracking up, and that's just what she showed me. Him hanging from a tree, and that's what he's doing. And I really believe he will hang from a tree when they find her body. And the stories about the tunnels and the wells and everything. It's a well, but it could be near a tunnel. And apparently, there's things on their property that they know about, but they don't want to see them. Don knows where they are. Okay, take care. Bye bye.